Hi, Peggy. How are you? This is totally random. I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I felt bad about Ken, so I decided I was going to um, redo Ken. So it may just be Mary Beth. Hi, how are you? I'm just, it's a Monday night, right? And so here we are. And so I thought I would redo Ken. I had trouble with his lobotomy the other night, so yes, relaxing in bed. That's how I normally watch most of my uh, streams. So that's a great thing. So hopefully, I will be able to send you off to a good night's sleep because that's always a good thing, right? So I will try to fix Ken. I ripped out the um, his paper clip on his head. So I'm going to, as Shelley Lynn had said, I should just cut out a whole new piece of cardboard for him. I don't know whether you can see this or not, my camera. I mean, I timed it, titled it random because this is so random. Okay, so let's get some packaging here, some popcorn. And I hope you all had a good day, beginning of a new week. And I hope you're all well. And the weather is good where you are. Here in Florida, as always, it's hot, 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 but it is July. Actually, yeah, it is July. I was going to say it's, yeah, it's July, so you can expect it to be hot. The next horrible thing to wait for is, I don't even want to say the word, but begins with an H and ends with an E. So, and it has a couple of R's in the middle of it. And that's always a terrifying experience. I've been here for 20 years and I've lived through a few of them and been terrified for the most part, but kind of getting used to it. And I've just come to the conclusion that I'm not going anywhere, I'm not evacuating, and I'm just gonna, as we say here in Florida, hunker down. And so be it. We've already had a couple of, well, I think, what letter are they up to? Would you say 93? Ooh. Are you in the desert, Mary Beth? I see. Are you in Arizona, right? I think. Yeah. I mean, it's good that they can forecast early, but I just think it just builds the anxiety. I mean, we waited like 10 days for Dorian to show up, and it was headed right for us, you know. And I mean, thank God she swerved or did something weird and didn't hit us, but it's just, it's stressful. And I'm making a bloody mess of this, but hopefully poor Ken has been through enough. He won't remember Friday night. So Peggy and Mary Kay. I used to be in the Mojave. Oh my gosh. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, that's kind of desert, right? I mean, that's pretty, that's hot stuff. But the Mojave Desert, am I pronouncing that right? That's serious heat. I think there was somebody here the other night that was close to what would be Death Valley, and they said it was 108. Uh, I often wonder what Florida would be like without air conditioning. I think once they invented air conditioning, that changed Florida forever. Obviously, Florida and Flagler. Flagler is the one that built the railroad down to the Keys and decided he was going to build a a place that was similar to where the rich summered, like in Newport, Rhode Island, and he was going to kind of build something like that down in the not far as the Keys, but like the Palm Beach area, and he built this beautiful mansion for his wife. He was in his 70s when he decided to build this. Oh, you're in Maryland. Okay. Yeah, humid. Yeah. The humidity's wicked too. That's just, miserable. And it's bad here too. When I visit my son in Utah, it can be 97, but 30% humidity, so it's not that bad. Hi, disorganized crafter. How are you tonight? Is that Nikki? Is that disorganized crafter's name is Nikki? I'm trying to read chat, and this is far, far away from me, and I should have been. All right, so. But Flagler built this beautiful mansion for his. Hi, Brooke. How are you? And he built this beautiful mansion for his much younger wife. He was in his 70s when he decided to build the railroad down to the Keys, and everyone thought he was crazy, but he had already made his money in other ventures. And this mansion, it's a museum, but that's where like Flagler College is. It's pretty amazing to go visit that. It's quite the museum. And I just, they have pictures of all these people like in the 1890s, Johnny, I'm sorry. Johnny. What am I thinking? Hi, Johnny. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of, yeah. And you have these pictures of all these women decked out and in these heavy dresses. And this is, no air conditioning. And I don't know how they must have melted. All right, so I think we got Ken. So this time I'm going to remember to put a slit in the back of the cardboard and not his head, because we gave him a lobotomy on Friday night. Yeah, the internet has been really weird. I think maybe because it's later tonight and there's less traffic. I know a lot of people have had trouble. And I know a lot of people are on StreamYard, and there seems to be, issues with that too. I think, there's a lot of traffic, and it's amazing when you think about how many people are on the, internet and communicating with one another. Now the schools are out, so that should have, cut down some of the traffic. I was sharing with my older son what I was doing, and about how, we can connect with people all around the world. And he reminded me that the internet basically had been developed for scientists so they could communicate and share their research and ideas with one another. And that was the original premise for the internet. And of course, it has expanded, to be what it is today. But that was the original purpose for the internet, were for scientists around the world to share their research in a common area. And he's a scientist, so he would know that kind of stuff. So, all righty. So I'm going to glue this on the back of Ken, and he will be better for it. I keep on telling him that, and I think I'm going to have to trim him up a little bit. So you guys all had a good day. I see talking about napkins. Are you going to do the napkin journal, or is that with? No, I didn't chop his head off tonight. That's he won't be. That would be like the headless horseman. We could have the headless Ken. That could be a new Halloween thing, right? I got a whole bunch of napkins from Aunt Beck, which was wonderful because I don't have many napkins. I mean, when you think of people that have napkins, here is the proprietary glue stick for the Gorilla glue gun, which I find rather annoying. It's a different size than the other glue gun I had, so it just seems kind of cheesy, but all right, here we go. Oh, it's working. It's a new. I mean, I watch some people with these glue guns and they are just wicked, right? And I'm not very good with the glue guns. Someone was, I think it was Rosemary on the industrial kit. She was kind of had embossed bingo tiles and she was kind of doing a rim of glue around them. And I don't want to get my fingers, so I'm just going to kind of get out of here and wish me luck. And I'm going to, all I know is this, when this sticks, it sticks fast. So stay. Here we go. And it's a one-shot deal because there's no wiggle room with this. So, oh man. Okay, Ken. Oops. Except for my finger. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Look at that. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Look at that. All right. So he's all. At the end of the hop on Friday night, I was watching, and the other hoppers, is that what they call them? Hoppers, I guess. People were involved in the hop. They shared their journals, and I felt like such a schlum. I think that's a Yiddish word meaning, lazy. I didn't do anything. I will post my address on my YouTube channel. I'll do that later. I have some, and but some people's collections of napkins is pretty intimidating. But they've been collecting a long time. I go to Tuesday morning. Our Dollar Tree has napkins, but they're like, napkins for parties. They're not really like napkins that, you would want to craft with, I guess. I have not been out. I am a coward. I have not been out. I go out for the two most important essentials. My medicine, my prescriptions, and to the liquor store, and then I come back home, and I've had groceries delivered, which has gone pretty well. To the if there's a grocery store chain here in Florida, it's called Publix, and they do a really good job. 300 what? Wait, I'm sorry. I have to adjust my glasses here. You still have probably over 300 napkins? Yes. Vodka and RX, that's it. And I order ahead to ABC Liquor Store, and they'll just bring it out to the car. So, I mean, and when you shop on online with Publix, it's kind of cool. You put your order in, right? And then, you set up a time, and then they text you, and they give you the name of your shopper. The last time I did this, Anna was the name of my shopper. And she lets you know, they text you and tell you that Anna has started shopping for you. I'm in Melbourne, which is East Coast, about 40 minutes south of Cape Canaveral. And I'm about 10 miles from the ocean. And I guess it's considered part of the Space Coast. My students used to refer to it as Melboring, but I think all kids think where they live is boring. So that's why I always encourage them to travel. Unless you travel, you'll never really appreciate where you live. At least that's my experience. And so you know who your shopper is, and you already agreed to, like, if there's a substitution. But as she's shopping, if they run out of something, she can text you live time and say, "Hey, they don't have this. Is this okay?" And then you say, "Yeah, that's okay." And I live very close to the Publix, so from start to finish, when she starts shopping to the time when she's literally in my porch area delivering the groceries, it's like an hour and a half. So it's pretty cool. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. All right. Ken he needs a little, what do they call that? The new body thing, the ice sculpting, where they freeze your fat away. Really, come on. I think that's called ice sculpting. That's a big thing down here. But I think it's a bunch of BS, right? What we won't do, right? I've been there, done that, and no, I've never done ice sculpting, that's for sure. All right, we're going to leave Ken like that. I think I kind of screwed him up, so I'm sorry, Ken. You're going to need now a plastic surgery. I really mutilated you. But you're still a good-looking dude, right? Okay, so there's Ken. All right. This is another paper clip I made out of this is the label from a wine bottle, of course, and it's tin. And I made one out of. Have any of you have worked with? Yeah, Antarctica. Yeah, just frostbite, right? It turns black and falls off. There you go, right? That's pretty gross, but that's what frostbite, right? The limb turns black and then falls off. So we could do that with our butts. That would be. I just saw that. That's pretty funny. This is made out of a pop can. I've been cutting up soda cans, and you can actually cut stuff using your die cut machine. I have a Big Shot or whatever. I don't know what the difference is between a Big Shot. Is there a Little Shot? I don't know, because but I collect this. I have a whole roll of it here. And you can put this through your die and get really kind of nice results. And it's not as sharp as you think it is. It's just, a little tricky to open up the can, but it's not that bad. Let's see. Good one. And I lived for 35 years. Frostbite. Oh, wow. 35 years. Were you in the military? I can't think of. Yeah, Shelley Lynn on one of her, I mean, back in, or a couple of years ago, she was making like earrings out of this. And I have a Gemini too. I have a Gemini Junior, and honestly, I'm not happy with it. I like the old crank thing. Oh, okay. Now I thought you guys were in Florida. Yeah, yeah. I think Dee Dee was stationed in Alaska. I think one of her husband's duties. My niece was in the Air Force, and when she was stationed in Alaska, they got like overseas duty pay because Alaska is so remote. So they got extra. She got extra money. Little shot, half a shot. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's good. All right. I have some summer stuff that I thought I would just glue in this book that ended up being my summer journal, and we'll take it from there. I don't know why I even thought I would come on, but it's so nice to talk to you folks. This is kind of cool. I didn't really expect anybody, and I don't mind talking to myself. I've taken to singing to myself. When I'm bored, I start singing, and the cats. My one cat, Lily, last night was stalking a rather large spider, and Cuttlebug. Was that a Timmy Holtz thing that comes in a big brown like suitcase thing? Aunt Beck. Hi, Aunt Beck. I was just talking about. Is Becky here? Oh, Auntie Loopy. Oh, hi. Okay. The Rhode Islander, right? Where you pack the car. Trying to read. Okay. Hi. I love the New England accent. I really do. I've got some beach stuff, so I thought maybe I would glue down some beach stuff. And this was taken, it's kind of scary, but this was taken like recently, like over the 4th of July weekend down in one of the beaches in Florida. And that's kind of why Florida is such a mess. Just saying, it's not, we all have our thoughts about that, but I think we'll just glue this in because it's a summer thingy. I was just going to say, has anybody seen a good movie? Ha ha ha, lately? I guess not. Just kidding. I've been, let's stick it right in the middle. I've been binge watching a Netflix comedy that my son had recommended, and I don't know if anybody wants. It's called Schitt's Creek. Hi, Sandra. Oh, Aunt Beck, you are here. Oh, okay. Hi, how are you? I was watching your video on your house. Man, you guys have done just a bunch of work. It can't be easy in this weather to be doing all that work, but it's looking good. It's looking really good. As you said, the paint cans are slowly diminishing as you get one room done and move on to another. That's just an enormous amount of work, especially since Scott's working and you're doing that. Yeah, that's just, it's brutal. And did you hurt your neck? I think I heard somewhere that you were having some problems with your neck. It's probably from painting ceilings and looking up over your head, I would imagine. One of my many jobs, we were talking about jobs the other night, and I counted up 14 different jobs. Before I became a teacher, I had 14 various jobs. And one of them was a painter, believe it or not. Let's see. How about these lovely ladies of summer? Now, talk about bathing wear. How about that bathing wear? Is that not? And how about this babe? Is that not cool? That was the style, right? And then they had those little cabanas where they changed, and they would roll those out into the beach. Oh, thank you, Johnny. Hey, the other night on Friday night, thank you for those of you who have subscribed to my. I ended up with like 50 new subscribers to my channel, and I was just so grateful. That was just so amazing. That I didn't expect that. So that was, that was pretty cool. Yeah, the 1920s, and they were wool. So you imagine how long it would take for them to dry, and they would come out of those little cabanas, and they would, in the late, if you watched Downton Abbey, I think one of the last episodes, they take them out, they're out at the beach, and they're out there, and oh yeah, it's Staten Island. It's Bill Higgins. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I told you my in-laws, my ex-in-laws were a big name on Staten Island. Yeah, it was Lar, Dylan, and Lar, and it was supposed to be Lar, Dylan, and Lar, which was Grandpa Lar, father-in-law Lar, and then it was supposed to be my ex-husband was going to be the next Lar, and he didn't follow suit. He was always kind of went against the stream, and much to his father's disappointment, he did not become a partner in Lar, Dylan, and Lar, and but he went to law school and passed the bar exam, and then did his own thing. And when I met him, he was practicing law. I met him at my grandfather's funeral. I know, it's odd. But his father and my father grew up on Staten Island. And Bruce was so angry at his father because his father couldn't take time out to go to his best friend's father's funeral, right? That Bruce took the day off from work. And came out to Long Island, where we lived, to represent his father and the Lar family at my grandfather's funeral. And that's where I met him. And the rest is history. Well, 25 years of history. And but Bruce went to law school. Again, passed the bar. And went into teaching. I think we talked about this. Didn't we talk about St. Loretto's on Staten Island? That was the church that was in The Godfather. the last scene in the Godfather 1. Yeah, we talked about that. I'm gonna, I'm trying to keep track of, all these stories because I've got so many of them. Well, that's kind of an odd background, but I'm not really paying attention, but it kind of works, right? Yeah. These pictures are coming off Graphics Fairies. They have some really neat free stuff every Friday. They post free stuff. I decided to subscribe to them. And there's, oh my God, thousands and thousands and thousands of stuff, pictures of everything that you can imagine. All right. She's all ready to go. I like her little ballet bathing shoes, right? That'll keep the, I guess, from walking on the rocks, right? All righty. All righty. What did I do with my, here they are. I have my, I got to put this in here. Well, I can't put that in there. That's not where that went. I'm sorry, folks. There was a, here they are. I got a mess here. Those messes where you got piles of stuff and then, I started to tell you about Lily and the spider last night. Spiders don't bother me. I'll tell you what bothers me. It's cockroaches. I know in Florida they don't call them cockroaches. Mount Loretta, yes. Yes, Beth, Mount Loretta. that I think I told you that church burnt down. I don't know whether it was a suspicious, I don't remember, but I think I told you that story about people would literally drop their kids off on the stoops. It was just like something out of Charles Dickens. They had dormitories and it was run by the monks, and it was just, I think I told you it was a 600 school because people that taught there got paid $600 extra a year versus regular New York City teachers. Beecham House. Oh, is that a new one or an old one? Is that similar to the Beecham House? Is that like the other series that I loved was Upstairs Downstairs on PBS? Do you remember that? That's many years ago. Yeah, I don't mind spiders, but it's cockroaches because they're you can't step on them because they crunch and there's like yellow pussy kind of crap that comes out of them, and it's just, oh God, they just creep me out. And in the morning sometimes I will find a cockroach leg, meaning that Lily probably got the cockroach and left it. But last night she was just patting at this spider, and it was not that big, maybe so big, but the body of it was tiny, and it got under the couch. And as cats do, she sat by the couch waiting patiently for it to come out. And I went to bed, and I brushed my teeth and got ready to go to bed, and I turned around and came out of my bathroom, and there the damn thing was on the floor, and I went, and I kind of said to the spider, I'm sorry, buddy, tonight's not your night. And I had a book, in the bedroom, and I just dropped it on the spider. I would not have been able to do that with a cockroach because that would just gross me out. No, there was a cockroach out in the garage, and I dropped an empty case box of Fat Tire beer and dropped it right on it. But I left it there for days. I didn't even pick it up until it got kind of dried out and everything. I mean, we have bug service here, so I have to, if I call them and say, hey, I got well, cockroaches, they'll come and spray, but I mean, it's Florida. How are you going to keep I mean, who the hell knows what's crawling behind the walls, right? Yeah. How many of you remember the Good Humor Man? The Good Humor Man in our neighborhood, his name was Ernie. Why I remember that, I don't know. I don't think he was a licensed Good Humor Man, but he had an ice cream truck, and he would come through the neighborhood and he'd play his little song, and we would all go running out and get ice cream. My ex-husband actually was a Good Humor Man one summer, I guess, and they were, at least from Staten Island, they were kind of located in Toms River, New Jersey, as I remember, and he'd have to go down there every day and pick up his truck. Do they still have, I wonder if they still have, probably not, because people are so, freaky about buying ice cream or candy. Yeah, I guess, but that's too bad. Some of those things that we just don't feel safe doing anymore, I guess. I don't know. But that was our highlight, though. We knew when that Good Humor, and we knew when Ernie was coming, right? And everyone was waiting. Let me just stop and read. I guess Texas bugs, I guess. Well, everything's bigger in Texas, right? Yeah, okay. You remember the Good Humor Man. Oh, okay. All righty. Well, that's cool. Newly married, stationed in Georgia, a giant crowd. Oh my gosh. Oh. Moving. Oh, no. Here they get to be maybe the size of your thumb. I had saved the leg of one for, because that was all that was left of it. So when the exterminator guy came, and his name is Johnny, and he's from New York, I said, I don't have the cockroach, but here's its leg. So from looking at the leg, you can figure out how big it was. And he just laughed. But what do they call them in Florida? Palmetto bugs? Really? Palmetto bugs. Cockroach is a cockroach is a cockroach. The creepy thing about cockroaches is they're prehistoric. They've been around since the dinosaurs. Talk about a successful species. That's the scary thing. They have been around for millions of years and they have survived. That's really creepy. I had fever. Oh, what are you saying, Mary Beth? Oh, I've been around the block more times than the Good Humor Man. Oh, Deborah, okay. Yes. Oh, is that the difference? Because I was coming in, this is I guess this was last year. I was still teaching. And I came into the garage, into my kitchen, and this bug went buzzing by me. And I thought to myself, well, that can't be a cockroach because they can't fly. Well, yes, they can. I didn't know that. So is that the difference between I guess, the New York? I don't know. And I was like, yeah, flying roaches. Yeah. And that's what it was. And I, talk about, losing it. Okay, Georgia. Yeah, that would be bug. Yeah, anywhere, I guess. I know there's cockroaches like in New York City, but I never saw a cockroach growing up on Long Island, and I don't recall ever seeing a cockroach in upstate New York. But yeah, it was flying. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've talked about, people that have lived in really crappy apartments that, when they get up in the middle of the night and turn on a light or go to the bathroom, they can just hear the scurrying of the cockroaches, going for cover. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. What else can we talk about other than cockroaches? That's just, there's all sorts of varieties, right? There's the German cockroach. And this is not a summer picture, but why don't we, since I'm just doing random stuff. Can you see this picture? Can you see this? Whoops. This is who'll sleep. Yeah, that's true. That was not a good. Well, we'll switch the conversation to this lovely woman here. This is my Aunt Margaret from New Bedford, Massachusetts, and her son James. Margaret Fanning, and she was a librarian. And I've got all of these pictures. I've made copies of them, so I don't mind cutting them up. But I have my own little collection of Timmy people, except they're my people. And every year she would give me a book for Christmas. And as a kid, I wasn't like overly thrilled. Oh, thanks, a book. But now I've saved some of them, and I really appreciate what she was trying to do for me. She was trying to educate me. But I remember visiting them in New Bedford, Mass. New Bedford was a whaling town, and they have a big statue in the center of the town of a whaler. But I've got a whole bunch of these really neat pictures of my family relatives. I think I've showed them to you before. I put them in my industrial journal. I made a whole section of these photographs of my family, and they are pretty cool. So she's not very summery, so maybe she shouldn't go there. All right. I don't know what else I've got in here that would be. I was going to make I don't have much light in here. I'm afraid if I turn this on, I'm just going to get one major. I don't really have good lighting. I don't have much equipment in terms of filming. I was going to cut this part out here. This year. That's weird. And make a paper clip. So why don't we do that? So anybody have big plans for Tuesday? Mary will be on at as Lori Marie Jenkins would say, at dark o'clock in the morning. I have to say, I appreciate Mary, especially, I think I've said this before, but when I was working, I would watch the news and unless I was getting ready to go to work. And by the time I was leaving here to go to school, I was already pissed off. And then I discovered Mary. Doctor's appointment, annual. Fun. My annual was canceled, and we did a virtual. So but I had all the thrifting. Yeah, I haven't, we don't, you guys, when you say you go thrifting, we don't have, you would think here in Florida, I know in Florida there's pawn shops everywhere. But that's not a pawn, you wouldn't consider a pawn shop a thrift shop, would you? So the only thrift shop that we have here is Goodwill. Yeah, that's what I thought. So you must have other thrifting stores that are associated with churches and things like that. The cover on this, it's just one of my few napkins, as we were talking earlier. It's a nappy can. Goodwill in Florida, yeah. Okay, Salvation Army. Yeah, I guess we have a Salvation Army, but that must be downtown Melbourne, which is quite a. I mean, even though my address is Melbourne, downtown Melbourne is probably a good, with traffic and everything. It's probably a good 40-45 minutes from here. Um, they just opened a brand new Goodwill about 3 miles from here, and it's open. Um, but when you guys talk about thrifting, it sounds like you and Mary have several stops that you can go along the way. I mean, Aunt Beck, I saw that haul you got of all of that, the sewing. What's that word for sewing stuff? Oh, sewing, I know. There's a special word for sewing stuff. No, we don't. Mm-mm. Savers or Saver Village, nope. Thrift stores, nope. We've got Goodwill. Yeah. Notions, that's the word I was looking for. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Notions. Well, Aunt Beck got a whole bunch of beautiful notions. Just unbelievable. And I'm embarrassed to say, when I was moving from my mom's house, downsizing here, she had a little like a footstool thingy, and it had all sorts of notions. I know, $1.89. And I wasn't really doing this at that point, and I just tossed it. And now I wish I hadn't tossed it, but I would never have tossed it now. I'm not a sewer, and I just admire anybody that does sew. Quilting, that's just amazing. And I bought one of those. Now I lost it. I bought one of those handheld. Hi, Janice. How are you? What? So you get 25% off? I think Goodwill does that here. I think they do that here. But the new one is open. I just haven't ventured out. I mean, I could. I mean, I wear a mask wherever I go, and I have no problem wearing a mask. So I tried making a mask, and it was a total fail. So I think I talked about this the other night. I just bought some that I can wash. All right, so we're gonna do this a little background, a little substrate with cardstock, and then I'm gonna put it on packaging, and then we'll do the old paper clip, and we'll have this nice little parrot, which is kind of summery. Parrots can be all year round, right? So I was just looking for stuff that reminded me of summer when I was putting this together for Friday night. And it's not really summery, but it's not wintry, right? Kim, are you leaving? Good night. Have a good evening. Sleep well. Night, Beck. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. And I was just talking to myself and thought, I'm just going to try this. I know a lot of people do this spontaneously. I would love to find a slot, but I'm not ready. I just don't think I have enough to share with you guys. I mean, I guess if I thought about it. Alrighty, so that's that. And then we're going to take a piece of popcorn packaging. If someone said to me, I don't know, 2 years ago, that you would be saving all of this kind of packaging, I would have looked at them like, what are you talking about? You nuts? And now I could not even think about not saving it. I think maybe sometime when I come on again, I will do some collage, because that's really my thing I love to do, collage and gluing, and I can't look at a magazine. I've never looked at the magazine again. After I watched Cage Fish, started following Cage Fish a couple of years ago, I have not been able to look at a magazine with the same eyes, because every time I turn a page, it's, whether I'm going to cut something out and save it. So I have lots of pictures saved. And I guess we all talk about how to organize those pictures, and that's kind of like the conundrum of people that save stuff like that. I initially had it saved by category, and I had one of those stacked things. You can't, you know what I mean? It comes on wheels, and I had like 12 drawers. Good night, Aunt Loopy. And I had it all, animals and buildings and architecture and musical instruments and things like that. And when I started to maybe put together a collage, I would never go and look through those drawers. I would never think to do that. So, and then it was Dee Dee who said that she had tried doing that too, and that didn't work for her. So she started storing her stuff by size, small, medium, and large. So that's what I have done now. I've got small, medium, and large, and that's how I have things stored. I might have a drawer that says, needs to be cut, ready to go. But honestly, I very rarely ever look at it. I will look at a magazine and just do a collage, what I see. Or I'll do a collage out of my junk mail. I journal every day, pretty much. And I normally do it in a 50-cent composition notebook. And I journal. I collect fountain pens, so I journal with fountain pens. And the fountain pens typically bleed through on the composition notebook. So on the side that it bleeds through, I create a glue, sometimes collage-y type of thing with the junk mail that I received that day. So I have a rather interesting collection of things on the opposite side of where I've journaled. It's junk mail stuff. And some days it's pretty amazing. I don't know about you, but man, the amount of junk mail. I have to say that I've noticed a less junk mail recently. Okay, so now I'll glue this, and then we'll say adios, and thank you for showing up, and I wish you all a wonderful day tomorrow. And if you're working, I wish you well in that also. And I hope you can be safe and whoops, okay. Let's do this. I know Aunt Beck's son had a scare, right, with the COVID at work. Is that right, Becky? Was Becky still here? I don't know whether that resolved itself. I think maybe she had gone to bed. Yeah, that's going to be good. My daughter-in-law had been running a fever, so she was tested for the virus. And because there's such a backlog, they have to wait until Wednesday to get the results. And they've been very, very careful. And they're up in Massachusetts. They're hunkered down in Cape Cod. And so we're all vulnerable, right? Okay, so here's another wonderful paper clip. And thank you, thank you, thank you, Peggy and Mary Beth and Janice and Aunt Beck and Aunt Loopy and Janice and all you folks. Yeah, maybe, or just a regular virus. I mean, they're in their early 40s, so they're young. And they really haven't been anywhere. I mean, they're very careful. My son is very, very careful. And, they wear masks wherever they go, and it just tells you. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to hearing from them. Okay, folks, thank you so much. And you've been wonderful company for a Monday night. And again, have a great week. And I'm sure I'll see you out on the internets. Okay, bye, folks. Thank you so much. Sleep well.